Hello everyone, welcome back to Sun and Fun 51. I'm Ben Coleman, your anchor host for the Florida Aviation Network, coming to you live and in the clear from the Central Florida Aerospace Academy. And we are here on the Sun and Fun campus, right across the street from the museum. And what a pleasure it is to be here. This is Turn Up the Fun in 51 is their motto. And this is, it's really happening. We've ordered and we have been blessed with some great weather. A little bit on the warm side if you don't like Florida, but and to the folks in the middle of the country, man, my hearts go out to you. You're getting pounded right now in Kentucky, that area. There's a stretch, a lot of severe weather up there. So we wish you well. Hunker down. We're here to inspire. We're trying to educate, we're trying to motivate, and I don't know of any other person in the performer circles right now that is any better at that than the gentleman that I have to my immediate left. You're right, Mr. Greg Koontz.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome to here on the Florida Aviation Network again, and you are a mainstay. I think you come back every year to talk to us, but
yeah, I enjoy it.
Greg, we know that you are a professional air show performer, and you're a flight instructor as well, and you do some good upset training up at your place somewhere in the southeast. I think it's near Birmingham.
Yeah, just east of Birmingham.
Greg, what's going on in your life?
Well, a lot. You know, right now this week, a lot of fun. This Sun and Fun is really, they've really ramped this thing up. I mean, it's incredible. I watched it grow for many years, but the recent efforts are very impressive. The place is getting cool, and their plans for the next 20 years are blowing my mind. You know.
Well, and it blows everybody's mind, but we've got to, in order for those plans to be successful, you know, we got to take the folks that are walking around here that are that come up to our elbow right now, and Greg, probably when you popped out of the womb, you were a professional pilot, and you were an air show pilot from the beginning. Were you not?
Yeah, when I was 7 years old, my dad took me to an air show, and I'll tell the short version of this. Basically, we stopped and talked to Bevo Howard. He was real famous in the day.
I've heard of Bevo.
Yeah, this you know, way a while back. And I talked to him, and he talked to me straight on, you know, not like I was a little kid. But it made me feel good, you know. And my dad was a pilot, so aviation was kind of already kind of rubbing off, but you know, that impressed me, and I decided when I was 7 years old, told my dad on the way off that airport, I said, I've decided what I'm gonna do when I grow up, you know, and just stayed with me and just stuck.
I know, I know the story, but in a thumbnail sketch, how'd you get your start? Did you really buy your first airplane?
Yeah, you know, my family just didn't have a lot of money, and we were always, you know, you bought a used car, not a new car, you know. I got a used secondhand bicycle for Christmas, and nothing sad about that. Parents loved me, but the point is, I just, you know, I realized it was going to be very tough to afford flying, and as I got close to that age where I was going to learn how to fly, I went to work at Burger King at night, you know, and in the summer had a summer job that daytime too. So I worked a lot, but I saved up the money to get my private pilot's license. But then I was out of money, and what am I going to do now if I really want to be an air show pilot? That means I got to get a commercial license. I got to, you know, I got to work my way up into this thing. So I really didn't know what to do. And so again, I'll tell the short part of this. I ended up deciding on buying a Piper J3 Cub I found in the newspaper. It was in pieces. And
basket case.
Yeah, a basket case. And my mom, of course, just hated the idea. But it worked. My dad's co-pilot is a mechanic. We put this plane together. I mean, before I was out of high school, I owned an airplane. This blew my mom's mind. She could, you know, she's all upset. But it worked, you know, and I had $1,200 wrapped up in that thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I flew it 300 hours in 14 months, and now I have my time in to get my commercial, you know, and move on. And so I sold the airplane for $3,000, which doesn't sound like much. Can't hardly get the tires for a Cub for that now, but that's what they were worth. But I had $3,000 in my hand, and went to the local FBO and said, I want my ratings. So it takes luck, but luck comes to people that are out there trying. And so it seemed like just luck, but being in the right place at the right time means being in a lot of places a whole lot of times, and it'll finally work out. But the point is, I didn't have anything, but I found out I could still make it work. For aviation is such an opportunity for young people right now. They're begging for pilots out there. You can be an airline pilot if you want to be an airline pilot, I guarantee you.
And mechanics.
Yeah. I meant to include that. I got my AMP, and I got a lot of respect for what it takes to get it. The industry is dying for mechanics.
Hey, Greg, I got to hold you up. This is my dad's Cub. He passed away last year, but I brought that thinking of you because that was when you got your start. You put it together, and we go.
I still own a Cub. I'll own a Cub the rest of my life. My wife knows that she'll have to sell it one day because I'm not going to.
Greg, I had a dream last night. It was kind of like a vision, and I saw it was almost like a nightmare. I saw you in a red decathlon coming straight at me, and you could I could tell it was like I could see your face clearly in the cockpit.
Oh, like that.
But what a great shot. What a great shot.
It is. That's a professional photographer there that did that.
Well, that's a professional in the cockpit, too, I can tell you that.
Well, we all work at it best we can.
Isn't it fun?
It is.
It gets to be a lot of work at times. I know it gets arduous at times, but it's still, when you get back to it, it's fun.
Well, doing what you love, you're never going to work too hard, know.
No.
Yes, you got to work. I actually was a corporate pilot to really raise my family, and have that house and a dog in the yard and all that stuff. But I never quit going after doing air shows. I just did it on the side until the day came. The kids were out of college and didn't have any requirements there, and I could take some chances, and I dove in and went full time with it and quit the corporate job. I was 51 when I did that. That's a while back. It's 20 years ago.
It's a while back, but that's quite a jump. That's young to just say adios to having to fly on the schedule and then making your own schedule.
It was scary, but again, sometimes if you just work at it, things will fall in your lap.
Greg, tell me, and again, we talked before we started this show that we wanted to talk to the young ones, boys, girls, and the parents, because it takes an awful lot of dedication to get the folks in and around. There's so much in this industry nowadays, to where if you have the desire, you gotta have the follow through. But you are probably one of the best examples of seeing something you wanted to do, saying, I'm going to do that someday. Another guy that did that similar is Tom Richard. Precious Metal, and he was a little kid in Sweden, and he said, I want to go to Reno and race someday. And by golly, he did. It took a lot of work to get it that way. But what can we share with the audience out there to follow your dreams and make them lofty? But if a boys like us, because I grew up in aviation, I just didn't know any better. So, but now, and if you enjoy what you do, and I know you do, you never work a day in your life. It's like it's a hobby that you happen to get paid for. And there's some hard days.
Oh yeah.
But what are we going to share with them? I want to be a little Greg when I get big.
To me, the bottom line is you can do it. It is out there within reach, and there's people to help. There's the Aeronautical Center of Excellence that Sun and Fund is doing. I contribute that quite a bit and jump in with that because it's a great program and it's opportunity. Mm-hmm. Again, they'll ask you to work if you're gonna get with them. Get some education and stuff, but they'll give it to you. And for people who have made it, you remember that operation. It's a high school for kids that want to fly or be mechanics. It's doesn't operate free. It takes some help. So think about donating something to that cause. So we've got to help the young people move on, and I'm here to tell the young people that you can do it. You know, anybody can do it. I wasn't a straight A student. I didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth, but I just wanted to do it bad enough to dig in and do it.
But read, write, arithmetic, I mean, there's a certain amount that you do have to pay your dues, and you got to learn.
Yeah.
But mechanic, your A&P, that was a challenge for you, I know.
Oh yeah, especially me. I'm not mechanically inclined at all.
I know, Greg. I know. I've seen some of the stuff you've been working on. No, but Fred, tell us about Fred. How's he doing?
Fred's doing fine. He's my crew chief, and yeah, we're still a team. You know, we don't do the comedy act with the Cub anymore. We just got decided we aged out a little bit to work that hard, but because I really couldn't have done it without him. But we're still working together, and he's here as my crew chief, and he flies.
Yeah,
he's got a little airplane called a Funk.
Yep, I've seen his Funk. It's funky.
It's a funky little airplane. It is. You can go a long ways with that little thing. Yeah. You just keep on going with
it. But again, we're getting back to the opportunity. I had the pleasure of talking to the Florida Wing Commander for the Civil Air Patrol back on Tuesday.
Yeah.
What a dynamic guy. And people don't realize what the CAP has to offer as far as education, training, discipline. If you've got a child out there that's a little bit hard or a challenge, if you will, Civil Air Patrol is the first step up to getting into the Air Force, but they teach you so much discipline if you want to be like somebody. Mentorship. You have mentored probably more people than you could ever imagine. I want to do what that guy does, and that's so important. And your demeanor, you're not outwardly this. You're not out here promoting Greg Koontz. You're out here promoting aviation and what you love to do and fly. And it's a testament to being a professional and to knowing that you are going to make an impact and have an impact on so many people that you don't. It just happens naturally to folks that are honest about what they want to do.
Well, it's very rewarding to get some. You get some recognition, but it's something to be proud of, to get into, and flying airplanes really isn't all that tough. It's
Greg,
yeah. Oh yeah. Wait a minute. We need a lot more money for doing what? No.
And you got to be special. No, it's not for everybody.
Well, no,
it isn't for everybody. It does take about a eye-hand coordination, but
and mostly desire.
Desire.
If you want to do it, you'll figure out how to do it.
How much glider time do you have, Greg?
Very little, to tell you the truth, and that's a great way to get started. This ACE program, they're flying sailplanes. It's an inexpensive way to build time and learn how to fly an airplane. And they're taking people out of the sailplanes at 14. They can solo them and get them rated there. And then when they're 16, it's nothing to learn the power part, And that's so clever. I mean, really it is, because you're not spending all that money on gas and oil and all that jazz, but you get really good experience. So.
It's just fascinating that a friend of mine, Sean Knickerbocker, talking with him the other day, and he lives on Seminole Lake Glider Port here in Claremont in Central Florida, and I said, Greg, what you been doing? Or Greg, you're Greg. Sean, what you been doing? And he said, I went for a little flight this morning. And I said, oh yeah, where'd you go? From here to Okeechobee and back. Where were you flying? Glider. So, got a tow and went down to Okeechobee and back. About 188 miles, just a little jaunt. No fuel.
They sail. They don't just glide. That's the thing. That's the cool thing about it, is finding that lift.
Do you enjoy taking folks up, and everybody's concerned about having an engine failure? Oh my God. What happens when your engine fails? You're going to stall and crash and die. Tell us about that.
You glide.
Yeah, you're a glider.
I've had some engine failures. Of course, I've flown some junky airplanes in my life too. Yeah, I got a little bit more of that, I guess most people have. But yeah, it's no big deal. You know, it's you find your place to land and you land.
Yeah.
And of course, in your training, you learn how to stay conscious of having enough altitude to have some time, and conscious of where you're going and what you're flying over. So you'll be ready. But that's part of anything. If I was driving a car, being ready and conscious of the dangers, and they're a lot more dangerous than airplanes.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
Absolutely. Maintenance-wise, I know you just got the engine back on your 180.
Yeah.
And that's got to be, it sure is frustrating when waiting on parts and waiting on sometimes
Waited 15
people.
months for cylinders.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So I forgot what the plane looked like. It's,
Have to go knock the dust off of it. Just
That's right. Yeah, but finally it's back. That's my
Okay.
toy.
And is she flying good?
Yeah. I've only got a couple hours on it since I got it back. But yeah, it seems to be operating okay. So that's the important part.
And your pups, do your pups like to fly?
The moment?
Your puppies, your puppy dogs.
Oh, I haven't taken my Aussie Doodle flying yet.
Okay.
Tandem airplanes, it'd be hard
It's
to,
tough.
what's the dog going to do, control it. But now they got the 180 back, it's time to take the Dixie's her name. Time to take Dixie for an airplane ride.
Oh.
Yeah, our last dog loved to fly.
And it just seems to be part of the family when you do that.
Yeah.
Maintenance-wise, Greg, we're trying to get people to, I call it the ultimate airman. I mean, really, to be a good mechanic, you really need to know how this stuff operates. To be a good pilot, it's good to know what's going on underneath the panel. So it's kind of the ultimate blend, if you will, I think, I encourage folks that are mechanically inclined to get your A&P, but don't forget, get your pilot's license. I would love to learn how to fly. Okay, what's stopping you? Well, money. Nah, I'm not going to buy that. If you want it bad enough, there's a way to get out there.
I
and
agree.
learn.
Absolutely. Definitely ways to do it.
How do you, what are your thoughts on the mechanical aspect of how important it is of what you do as an air show performer? And I know you used to take that Cub and take it down and put it back together every trip.
Every trip.
Every nut, bolt, screw, washer,
Yep.
safety wire, it got done and done and done and done and done. What was the most important thing to you? And have you had, I don't want to ask you about too many close calls, but you do have to be aware of what's going on behind the panel.
Yeah.
What do you do about that, Greg?
Well, you learn it, Get some hands-on experience doesn't hurt a bit. That's the real reason I want to become an A&P. I'm not all that mechanically inclined, really. So that's where I want to get my hands on and do some fixing and work on, shoulder to shoulder with a professional and kind of learn the ins and outs of it.
Well, it's. I'm glad you mentioned that you don't have to be a master mechanic to be an A&P. You just need the standards. We're all about standards in this business, and once we set that standard, some people call them regulations. I prefer to call them a standard.
Yeah.
It's a rule. And how many turns on a safety wire per inch? There's a standard for that. Don't make it too loose. Don't make it too tight. Make it just right.
Yeah.
And that's what I guess what we're looking for. And when I see your equipment, I got to hand it to you. You and Fred do a hell of a job putting these airplanes and keeping them maintained and clean. Cleanliness is very important in an airplane. You walk up to an airplane that's got a lot of grease on it and looks nasty. How do you inspect an airplane when you got grease all over the place? You can't.
Nah.
I call it hide a crack.
Call it what?
Grease is called hide a crack.
Oh, hide a crack. Okay.
But Greg, share with us just we got about a minute left, but
Okay.
I want you to, I know you're flying in the show, is it today or tomorrow, is it?
No, I already have.
But you're not flying again the rest of the week? Oh, that means we're going to have to catch up and get a beer.
Yeah, there you go. You better quick, because I'm hopping the plane tomorrow morning and headed to Alabama because there's weather coming in. You were talking about the weather in the
yeah.
south earlier?
Come across.
Yeah, it's Sunday. If I wait till Sunday morning, I won't be getting home till Wednesday.
Well, if you head out in the morning, you're going to go right over my place. We may have to hog tie you, but I'm going to be here working.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not working. This is volunteering, and I'm having fun. But Greg, thank you so much for joining us. And there's so much B-roll, and we encourage people to go to your website.
Yeah.
And if you want some upset training, I mean, you do a heck of a job. I've heard from some of your students.
Yeah, that's my day job. I like to teach.
Yeah.
Teach aerobatics, but great deal of people using the airbags to learn upset. So.
Well, Greg, we could go on for literally hours, and we have before, and I'll be back at Sentimental Journey, hopefully in June, and hopefully you'll be there too.
Oh yeah, we'll be there. I'll
All
fly the
right.
180 up there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Greg, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll
I enjoy
see you,
it.
We'll see you up there.
All right.
We will see you next interview, and hopefully it can't be quite as dynamic as this with Greg Koontz, but we look forward to seeing all that he's going to be doing in years to come. Take care.